All right, so apparently people wanted the PVE side of the PvP tier 4 tier list. Now, the PvE side of things is a lot more niche in my opinion. When you say a character is good for PvE, it doesn't necessarily mean the same things as it means for PvP. Believe it or not, it's actually kind of weird because PvE is easier than PvP in my opinion, but the characters are less good overall. There's a lot more like just niche characters who are like really good for one thing, but then just terrible, not terrible, but just not that good everywhere else. So like, for example, Bullseye. I feel like Bullseye is like quintessentially the PvE character that exemplifies this the most, because we know he's meta. He's the #1 meta for the one ABX day, the one ABX day every 2 weeks for speed villain. So you might be wondering, like, Alex, why don't you just call this the ABX ABL category and rank them that way? Because that's not how the list works, and it doesn't give people information, like helpful information. I can just tell you now that he's good for ABX ABL, but what you want to know is like overall. So like overall, Gwenpool's better. Yeah, she's better because she's easier to play. She's good in more content. She can be a hero. She can be a villain. She has a lead, whatever. She has Pierce for new players. So like she's just better for PvE overall, but you wouldn't know that if you just look and see like, okay, which game modes is Gwenpool meta for? Oh, she's actually not meta for any game modes. She's the second best for ABX, but that's it. Oh, Bullseye's meta for 1 day of ABX. Oh, he must be better overall. He's not better overall. I mean, some people will argue with me and say that he is better overall because he scores 1,000,000 points more than Gwenpool does in that 1 day every 2 weeks. But that's not really my opinion, man. And that's the most important PSA at the start of these videos. This is just my opinion, so you're more than welcome to disagree with me. Some people do it for fun, they do it for sport, but unfortunately none of them get paid as of yet. So we're gonna queue in here with the Dumpster League. These are just the worst characters for PvE, just so genuinely, generationally bad for PvE type characters. They are just not good. We got our Ant-Mans, we got our Red Guardians, okay? These characters just do not cut it. Okay, we got Professor X down here, just really bad. Spider-Gwen's probably made it to this zone here. Quicksilver's in here. He's not good. We're just gonna go through all of them, get them out of the way. Echo's terrible, and Angel's terrible. Beast is terrible. Oh, well, he's a support. Well, okay, we'll leave Ancient One. Ancient One support. Daredevil's terrible. Let's not get it twisted, boys. He is terrible. I think that about does. Oh, X23 is terrible. Yelena's terrible. This is just for PvE. Remember, Alex. Okay, I'm reminding myself as much as I'm reminding the audience. Poor Magneto Man still doesn't have a uniform. I think that about... No, Shadow Shell's got to be terrible as well. Let's be real here. Moon Knight's terrible at this point. He's just not good. He's certainly better than a lot of these characters. We can rank them in this list. I don't really want to, I'll be honest with you, but I can try. Shadow Shell's got to be up here. Yeah, man. There's a lot of bad characters for PvE. I think it's something like this. I could be wrong. Angel might actually be better. And I could be wrong about Angel. I could be wrong about X23 as well. I think maybe that's how it looks. Actually, like, genuinely, that's how it looks. Oh, Hulkbuster's so bad. Oh, Hulkbuster's so painfully bad. He's probably worse than Red Guardian because he doesn't even have the tier 4 buff, eh? Okay, so that about does it for just like really awful, like basement bin DPS characters. Then you have, oh man, he's really bad too though, isn't he? Then you have like the next level of the basement. So they're better, but they're not that good. I'd probably put Gamora up here. She's pretty nice. I'd probably put Iron Man up here. He's pretty nice. I'd probably put him ahead of Bullseye, even though Bullseye is meta for that 1 day. That 1 day every 2 weeks. It's funny because the way you say it. Man, is Black Panther here or is he down here? I actually think he's down there. It's actually funny the way that you say it because we need to put support somewhere. Okay, we're actually gonna drop these guys down here because they're just terrible, and we're gonna put supports here. So, but actually that means that the supports actually have to go here because supports are actually better, right? The PvE supports, very important. I will rank them in terms of how important they are. Nick Fury's got to be #1 here for tier 4s. He gains more and more value every single day, ladies and gentlemen. Mystique is probably behind Agent Venom. Weapon Hex is pretty nice too. War Machine is very niche, but he is technically a support. Cyclops is an insanely good support. Ancient One's a pretty good support. Not used too much, but not bad. Ebony Maw, very rarely used. Almost more rarely. I feel like he's more rarely used than... he definitely is, because all the World Boss Legend pluses, none of them are universal, right? You have Black Swan, who's speed, and then the next two, I mean, when it switches from Corvus to Proxima, but like Get Real, right? It's like 10 seconds every fight, right? So he's actually probably the weakest support, or the least useful support for PvE specifically. Oh, Beta Ray Bill is a fantastic PvE support. He's got to be up here, somewhere like that. There may be a couple more. Oh, Namor. Namor's not really a support. Namor's got to go in the bin here. Namor's got to go in the bin. I do like Namor. Don't get me wrong. I do really like Namor. But he's got to go in the bin. Ooh, I want to put him in the bin so bad. But I can't put Loki in the bin technically. Wong is a support, but very, very rarely used. And I think... Oh, Storm is way too good to be classified as a support. Yeah, I think that's basically it for support types. Okay. We can get the absolute goats out of the question here. So, Doctor Strange, Storm, just goated tier for every type of PvE content. Just blow it up, nuke it. They're just going to do so insanely well no matter what. They kind of deserve to be in their own category. I'll be honest with you. They kind of deserve to be in their own category, because even though I want to put somebody like Jean up there, and even to a lesser extent Wolverine, they're just not on the same level. They're not on the same level as Doctor Strange and Storm. So they actually have to be downgraded, which means we may have to open up to a new category. Or we may need to put some of these guys in the bin a little bit further. Like, more needs to go into the D category, because there's like Spider-Man, his PvE value is just not good. I mean, it's probably still not bad, but it's got to be like right here. Dr. Octopus is pretty good, but again, it's just like one stage. It's a couple of stages. Okay, we'll put him there. We'll put him there. Elektra's terrible as well. We got to put her in the bin, bro. I don't know what I was thinking there. She's got to go in the bin. Gambit's not bad, but yeah, he's not even, eh? He's not even. He's got to be at the bottom of C tier. Thor is pretty good and pretty useful. I like Thor a lot. He does very, very well with a low-end build as well. You don't need a high-end build. You don't need a brilliant CTP. I do really like him for that reason, but I probably overvalue him, just FYI. Hulk is quite nice as well. Again, like Hulk, very, very useful, but putting him up here just feels wrong. You know, it just feels wrong. And again, I understand people are going to say, oh, Alex, just put in another category. Just make multiple categories. The constriction... The way that it's set up and the constraints that you have to imagine are actually more helpful, right? It's more helpful to make these delineations than to just create endless categories so that you can just have 5 characters in each and it just looks nice. Oh, Carnage got to be down here, bro. Carnage got to be in the bin, bro. Carnage got it. Maybe top of the bin. Black Widow's terrible too. She's got to go in the bin. Cap is right at the bottom, bro. He's right at the bottom of the bin. So is Crescent, to be honest. Crescent's terrible outside of the 1 day of ABX every 2 weeks. So I gotta, like, Crescent's probably the best example, actually, of a character that can very easily be overvalued. Like, she's very, very good for that 1 day, guys. That 1 day of combat hero or combat female. That 1 day. That's it. That's it. So don't get it twisted. She's not that good. Doctor Doom is terrible, bro. Put him in the bin. Put him in the bin. The bin just keeps getting bigger. Apocalypse is so bad. I remember testing him in PvE. Now the flashbacks are hitting me like PTSD waves. He was terrible. I honestly don't think Punisher is terrible, but he should go in the bin. The bin is just too large right now. It's like a vortex. It's just sucking in bad characters. Black Bolt is like not meta for anything, but he's honestly not bad. But he probably deserves to be at the back here. But does he deserve to be further back than Gambit? Maybe. And Gamora. That's tough. Adam's going in the bin. He's a PvP character. He's in the bin. 100% in the bin. Captain Marvel's probably... Ooh, that's tough. That's tough. I think she's worse than him, but she doesn't deserve to be in the bin. I think she doesn't deserve to be in the bin. Who else deserves to be at the top? Ghost Rider. Yeah, my main man, Ghost Rider. Definitely deserves to be up there. I think that's a good place for him. I may be overvaluing Jean slightly, but she's very good. The problem with Jean is she's not available for a lot of world boss stages, but the stages that she is available for, she blows them up. She just nuclear bombs them. So, and Hulk is actually not that good for PvE world boss content, so I actually think I need to bring him down a peg here. Mr. Fantastic is pretty bad. Gotta put him in the bin. The bin, bro. It's just where they belong. Magic's gotta go in the bin as well. Again, these characters are not bad per se for PvE. They're just not going to stand out. They're not going to stand out. They're not going to be meta. There are some niche qualities that they have. Namor has the buff. Black Widow is an insanely good striker for ABX. So they have some niche value. But outside of that, Silver Surfer goes in the bin. Outside of that, they're not very good. So just keep that in mind. That probably makes sense. Maybe she's overvalued. I'm not 100% sure. She's actually not bad though. Star-Lord probably also deserves to go in the bin. I'm not gonna lie to you. He's not bad, but he probably deserves the bin. Yeah, he probably does deserve the bin. Riri is an amazing support, insanely good. Probably not gonna get as much run as she deserves, but very, very strong. She's also a leadership. She's honestly better than him. Miles is insanely good. He's so good. The problem is he doesn't have any ABX, ABL value. So you almost got to put him here, but I do feel like there is a jump between him and Iron Man. He's just that goated. Miles is really that goated for everything that's not ABX, ABL. And it's not even that he's not goated for it. It's just that he doesn't have any stages, right? That apply to him, for him. Hela probably needs to go in the bin. I'm not gonna lie. Or maybe we can expand this section down here. I think we expand this section down here. And we just add more characters to it who are just pretty good, but not insane. And I think that makes sense. Magneto is bin worthy at this point. Like, it's tough. Magneto's tough. Maybe he buttresses the back end of the C tier because he's still the second best. Believe it or not, he's still the second best blast male villain. It's just the gap between these two is wider than the Grand Canyon. You know, it's pretty brutal. Luna's pretty insane. Obviously for ABX, ABL, she's nutty. And then for World Boss, she's okay. For GBR, she's kind of ass for GBR. So I almost think that she's less valuable than Wolverine overall for PvE. But I know people are going to attack me for this one and think that I'm cooked. So I'll put her here. But me personally, I think she deserves to be here. Me personally. But that's something for someone else. Scarlet Witch is pretty good as well. Pretty solid overall. Kind of just like a worse version of Thor in my opinion. Better for ABX, ABL, but worse everywhere else. But she's still quite solid. Like, Scarlet Witch is very good. The reason why I say she's like Thor is because they don't need a good build, right? Just with a regular CTP of Rage or Mighty, they absolutely blow up content. It's really, really nice. They do not need max builds by any means, and she doesn't even have a team-up collection to tap into yet, whereas he does. So in that sense, I do really like her, and I think she's quite valuable. But I also think that, you know, she struggles a little bit in World Boss, and people don't acknowledge that. Oh, Madeline's going in the bin, 100%. Madeline was made for the bin, bro. Madeline was made for the bin. Rogue is pretty good. She's lost some of her, you know, oomph, but she definitely deserves to be, like, here, I would say. Invisible Woman, just like a worse version of Human Torch, so I think she goes in the bin. Yeah, I think she goes in the bin, boys. I think she goes in the bin. Psylocke is still pretty good, but she's obviously lost her status. She's pretty strong for World Boss, but very squishy. Exceedingly squishy. So I almost want to put her next to Rogue and sort of, you know, put them side by side kind of thing. Winter Soldier's all right. I think he kind of needs to be here, man. Maybe we overvalue Iron Man a little bit and we bump him back. Yeah, I think that actually looks pretty good. That's not bad here. Sharon, World Boss Merchant, but not really good otherwise. So I actually think she's overvalued by a lot of the community, in my opinion. I think she goes there. Yeah, I think her time is kind of over until they change World Boss, you know, World Boss requirements. By this point, Blue Dragon goes in the bin. Although she's pretty high up in the bin, she goes in the bin. That's what happens. Odin is not bad, but he's just not meta for anything. He does hit pretty hard for a tier 4 though, which is quite nice. I think he probably goes about here. Cable is so bad, bro. I'm not a big Cable fan. Yeah, bro, he goes in the bin. Yeah, I think he just goes to the top of the bin, in my opinion. Thanos, it's tough. This Thanos goes in the bin. Farmer Thanos is actually good. So I almost want to put Farmer Thanos here. I almost want to do that. Loki, we know he's meta for one thing. Yeah, I know. He's meta for one thing. He's terrible everywhere else. It's tough, man. He's basic, bro. It's basically this. He's basically, it's funny because they wear the same shit. He's basically a better version of Bullseye. He's basically just a better version of Bullseye because he's just available for like 2 days instead of 1 or whatever. I think he's bad, man. But maybe I'm overvaluing Dr. Octopus, so I'll do this, and maybe people will be less angry at me for that. I don't know. Bishop, not very good. Goes in the bin. He's way better than Cable, though. Oh my gosh, so much better than Cable. But no, he goes in the bin. Venom, I think, is really good. He just doesn't have the ABX, ABL pedigree, but that obviously costs him points. I think he's I think he's way better than Dr. Octopus, in my opinion. I think he's way better than these bums, man. I think he has to go here. I could be overvaluing him, but he is nuts for he's ABX. He's nuts for World Boss. Yeah, but the thing is, he's only nuts for World Boss. I'm kind of glazing. He is a little bit. He's kind of just a World Boss merchant. Okay, I think he goes here. I think you could flip-flop these two for sure. I think he goes there. I think it's a fair place to put him. That's a fair place to put him. Same thing with Kingpin. He's kind of just like a one-trick, bro. These guys are all just one-tricks. Genuinely speaking, these guys are one-tricks. I don't actually know. I haven't tested. I'll be honest. I haven't tested Kingpin extensively in World Boss to know well enough if he's better here. So he's not better than Venom. Come on, stop. I'll put it like that. I think that is kind of fair. With Sentry and Null, it's a bit tricky because they are actually good for PVE, but everyone just uses them for PVE, so they never get their time to shine. So he goes in the bin. But I actually think he's pretty good. Null, on the other hand, a lot of people do use him for PvE. I think he's actually a bit underrated for PvE. He hits really hard. He has a really good tier 4. He spams his abilities. Obviously super tanky. Probably you can use him as an alternative to Thanos or Loki for the ABL stuff. And then he can also do the World Boss stuff. I think it's tough. I do think he deserves to be in the A category, but yeah, some people are going to disagree with me there. Gladiator is really good for ABX, ABL. Also doesn't need a huge build, which is nice. Not very good for World Boss. Actually genuinely struggles for World Boss. And not really good for GBR. Again, I feel like Gladiator, Loki, Bullseye, these guys are all just ABX, ABL merchants. But maybe that is enough to justify them being an A tier. So maybe I have to do something like this. I don't really like it. There's no way Loki's better than Null overall for PvE. There's no one who would say that with a straight face. There is no one that would say that there's no way. I don't even think he's... No, there's no way. There's no way. Null busts some stage down, bro, for real. Okay, I think that's fair. I think that's fair. I think that's a fair compromise. I'm talking to myself here. And then Deadpool. Deadpool's not bad for PvE. He's honestly not bad. But he's not meta. Like, let's be real. He's like Odin. He's like an Odin. He's in like the Odin level. I may be undervaluing Gamora a little bit here. Maybe he's below. Maybe he's here, actually. Maybe we do that as well. Actually, yeah. I think that looks better. Again, I don't... It's very, very hard. These lists are actually very hard to do because I'm not trying to overvalue any one game mode, right? We're looking at World Boss. We're looking at ABX, ABL. To a much lesser extent. It's mostly... Listen, it's like 80% ABX, ABL. 80%. 40% World Boss, 40% ABX, ABL, and then the last 20% is farming, like the Dimension Rift Dispatch farming and GBR. GBR at this point is like kind of too easy, but these two are just so head and shoulders above everybody else. And by the way, Storm is above Doctor Strange. Yeah, I know. But these two are just so head and shoulders above everybody else that it's crazy. Taskmaster is used a lot, but he may be overvalued here. I'm not sure. It's tough. It's tough to say. I think this is very well done. Just to clarify, I'm like self-glazing. I just mean like I think it makes sense. That's what I'm trying to say. I'm not saying the list is perfect. Just to clarify, guys, I'm not saying the characters in D tier are bad for PvE. I'm not saying they're bad. I'm just saying that they're going to require more investment. They're going to require higher end builds. They're going to require more familiarity, more practice with their rotations, whatever, you know. If you're an average player, below average player, if your phone lags, whatever, these characters are generally not going to perform at the top 10, right? At the top tier. And then these characters perform better on average than the ones below them. And then again, the B tier is basically for supports, but they're actually really important. So I would honestly say, like, if you get everybody in the top 3 tiers, I would say you're in a really good shape, right? Or like almost everyone. You don't have to get all the supports. Obviously, I wouldn't tier 4 like War Machine unless you really love Iron Man. I wouldn't tier 4 Ebony unless, you know, whatever. But I think this makes sense. But yeah, hit me up in the comments down below. Let me know what you think. Maybe Cap is actually overvalued here. Yeah, maybe maybe Cap goes in the bin, actually. All right, I could probably make a couple more changes, but I think this is good. I think this is good. What do you guys think? Hit me up in the comments down below. Let me know what you think. Thank you so much for watching the video. Smash the like button if you enjoyed the content, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.